Netflix's boss thinks they are better than YouTube.
It's a way that people kill time. Killing time and spending time are two different activities.
So why is Netflix spending millions to work with YouTube creators? To find out, I recalled my conversations with industry experts about Netflix's growth trajectory, while also diving deep into Netflix's business. And I learned something interesting. Netflix's current battle versus YouTube is actually the third arms race Netflix has been a part of in the last decade. And by the end of this video, you'll understand the key historical context behind Netflix's pursuit of YouTube creators and what this pursuit could mean for the future of both companies. Back in 2015, Reed Hastings, Netflix's co-founder and CEO at the time, made an eyebrow-raising statement.
Linear TV is like the fax machine.
While harsh, Reed wasn't exactly wrong. By the mid-2010s, people, especially young adults, were increasingly cutting the cord on cable and paying for streaming instead, which filled Netflix's wallet and made them the new kings of entertainment. But Disney, Netflix's arch-rival, was trying to catch up by launching their own pair of streaming services. And Netflix knew they needed to respond. So they signed Shonda Rhimes, the creator of Scandal and Grey's Anatomy, to a deal worth at least $100 million over 4 years, stealing her away from ABC, where her work generated billions in ad revenue, while also generating flashbacks to Netflix's aggressive bid for the hit show House of Cards in 2013. But Netflix was nowhere near done, flexing their financial muscle in order to steal cable TV's top talent. In 2018, they signed Ryan Murphy, the producer behind Glee and American Horror Story, away from 21st Century Fox, to a record-breaking $300 million deal, which left the cable industry at a loss for words and sent a clear message. The new era of premium content would be on Netflix, not cable, and they were willing to spend almost any amount of money to make it happen. With Netflix leading the charge, streaming companies spent on talent and content like nobody's business. And in an all-out race to turn cord cutters into new subscribers, streaming companies heavily discounted already unprofitable subscription price points, which strengthened the illusion that streaming would always be cheaper and better than cable. But that illusion would not last long. As Steve Carell in The Big Short best puts it,
"There's a bubble.
How do you know?
Trust me."
While Netflix's deal with Shonda Rhimes produced massive hits in Bridgerton and Inventing Anna, returns on Netflix's other content sprees were showing cracks. Outside of Dahmer, which was a massive success for Netflix, none of Murphy's other shows landed within Netflix's top 100 list between 2019 and 2022. Not exactly what a studio is paying $300 million for. And it was a similar story with Game of Thrones creators David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, whom Netflix courted for $200 million, yet whose dramatic comedy The Chair was canceled after one season. However, these warning signs just escalated to a 5-alarm fire in 2022 after this announcement.
Netflix suffered its biggest stock loss in nearly 2 decades, losing
200,000 subscribers.
200,000 so far this year.
Yeah, not great, and Netflix wouldn't take long to respond, doing what they long said they wouldn't do.
We're really committed to an ad-free experience, so no plans.
You guessed it, adding an ad-supported plan, and joining many of their competitors adding ad-supported plans in order to boost profitability. Then the company cracked down on something streamers had long accepted as a way to grow their subscriber bases: password sharing, which paid immediate dividends, resulting in a huge increase in signups only days after its implementation. Yet Netflix's moves to recover their market share showed much more than just their immediate rescue plan. It revealed Netflix's shift away from the growth at all costs mindset of the peak streaming wars and towards a model focused on profitability, putting them in the crosshairs of the media giant they had long dismissed, YouTube. Netflix's first two arms races, first with cable networks and then with other streamers, look little like the Goliath versus Goliath battle they now find themselves in, as Netflix has neither a huge technological or market share advantage over YouTube. And for a company long regarded by Netflix and its streaming competitors as a platform they competed with for attention but not for their streaming businesses, YouTube is now the envy of streamers. They're owning the living room, beating out Netflix and other streamers in the process, and it seems like YouTube is only going up from here. YouTube's share of the TV viewing market in July of this year is a 3% increase from its market share in July of last year. Why? That's thanks to a massive shift in how people consume YouTube. In 2020, less than 30% of YouTube viewership happened via the TV. Yet just a few years later, that number climbed to almost 45%. And the most surprising stat? The group that's contributed the most to the rise of YouTube on TV isn't Gen Z, it's boomers, with boomer viewership of YouTube on TV soaring 96% in just the last 2 years. As YouTube CEO Neil Mohan says, for more and more people, watching TV means watching YouTube. And that's left Netflix in a difficult spot. While Netflix isn't a creator platform like YouTube, the streaming industry's new focus on profitability is forcing them to eat their words once again and invest in content they claim
Kill time?
in order to build up their own advertising business. And within the last year, that movement has picked up steam. From Jake Paul to Ms. Rachel to the Sidemen, Netflix is quickly embracing the creator economy, with more deals expected to be announced soon. And with almost endless money after a couple of great quarters, plus the allure of Netflix's brand for many YouTube creators, it would seem like Netflix would not have a hard time convincing YouTubers to leave YouTube and join Netflix. Well, not so fast. Unlike the broadcast stars that Netflix poached in their arms race with the cable companies, YouTubers have far less creative incentives to leave their current home. In fact, it's been reported that while in talks with several top YouTube creators, Netflix has proposed exclusive deals, which has led to a bunch of rejections from creators. And it's not hard to see why, given how much these top creators are making on YouTube. So while that's certainly a hurdle, Netflix is also persistent. It's now being reported that Netflix is working on deals where YouTubers can post on both platforms, but Netflix can license part of a creator's back catalogs, akin to Netflix licensing older Grey's Anatomy seasons. But that's not all. Netflix has been hyping up their monetization model in comparison to YouTube.
We believe we are a more competitive, better service for a certain class of creators. And most importantly in that is that we lead monetization for those kinds of titles.
So if Netflix continues to make deals with top YouTubers, will YouTube suffer the same fate as cable networks did when their star talent got poached? Well, the answer is no. Comparing YouTube to cable networks is like comparing apples to oranges. While both are home to highly monetizable creative talent, they have completely different relationships with their stars. Cable networks are very dependent on their biggest stars to produce hits, so when top talent leaves, it's a huge hit on the business. But that's not how YouTube's business works. The riches lie in the niches, and these niches are the engine behind the platform's staggering levels of uploads and engagement. So even if YouTube's biggest stars all signed deals with Netflix, YouTube would be fine. Therefore, even with Netflix's increased focus on YouTube creators, it's incredibly unlikely that the effects of Netflix's buying spree this time will resemble those of last time, and ultimately meaning that YouTube and Netflix will be the stars of the entertainment world going forward.